It was a quiet evening on the island of Sodor. The final train of the day had run and the engines were bored. They decided to have a storytelling contest, but none of them knew what story to tell. But then Doc had an idea. "What about a ghost story?" he said. "Ghost stories are always the best." The other engines agreed with this. "Oh yes," said Thomas. "Let's try to tell the best one." "I can't think of any, though," said Oliver. "I've got one," said Edward. "Now, let me remember it." The other engines sat in silence. Edward always told the best ghost stories. It was 1941, and an engine was making his way home from visiting the big station in the big city. His name was Hubert. He was a nice chap. I knew him well. Anyway, he was on his way home from a big day in the big city. It was a long journey to his little station, but Hubert didn't mind because he liked to stretch his wheels. They arrived at a small station where they fueled up, as the station was a long way and they needed a lot of coal and water. There was another engine in the siding and Hubert had a chat with him, and then they set off. The journey passed quite quickly, with Hubert's driver and fireman and Hubert talking about this and that. The driver was saying that his wife was causing trouble, and the fireman said that his sister had just married and he didn't really like his new brother-in-law. Soon they saw the lights of their home station approaching. "Nearly home, Hubert," called his driver. "We'll be able to get you in bed, wrapped up nice and warm." But alas, the driver did not know what was about to happen. As Hubert approached the station, his driver began to brake, but a bizarre occurrence happened. Instead of braking, Hubert began to speed up. "Hubert, what are you doing?" cried his driver. But Hubert just laughed. He laughed and he laughed. He was still laughing as he plunged through the buffers and into the quarry below. His driver screamed. "That's an awful story," said Toby, "but a pretty good one." "It's not true, is it?" "It might be, but then again, it might not be," said Edward. The engine shut. Just that moment, Thomas's driver arrived. He'd been having a cup of coffee in the canteen. "Right, Thomas," said his driver. "Time to get moving. We've got a lot of passengers on board." The guard blew his whistle and Thomas set off. That was a good story, thought Thomas. I didn't really like the ending though, but that'll never happen. We engines are very sensible. We don't go having accidents. Thomas was about to realize his mistake. Suddenly he plunged off the line. The next day, the engines were all talking about Thomas's accident. "It's shocking," said Toby. "Thomas has never had an accident that serious before." Just then, Toby's driver arrived. "Come on, Toby. It's time to get moving. We've got our train to take." Toby waited for the guard. When the guard blew his whistle and the signal changed, Toby set off. Toby had no idea that his journey that he was setting off on was about to be his last. The signals shone green and all the points were set for his path as Toby powered through. His driver shuddered. "It's quite cold today," said the fireman. "There's the station up ahead. We can have a cup of tea there." Toby was glad that the next station was already in view, as he had little tanks, so he needed a lot of water and stops. He saw Percy in the siding and decided to tell him about Edward's ghost story. Percy was shocked by the story. "It sounds horrible," he said. Toby agreed. Then the guard blew his whistle, and Toby had to set off. With a ring of his bell, Toby departed the station, not knowing that soon out of the tunnel would be his imminent demise. As Toby entered the tunnel, everything seemed normal, but when he came out, he saw what looked like an engine on the line ahead. He rang his bell, continuously, but the figure didn't seem to hear, so he rang it again, louder and louder, but the figure didn't listen, and Toby crashed right into the back of him. A week later, Percy was sitting in the siding at Wellsworth. He had a goods train and had stopped to let Gordon pass with the express. Soon he was off. He was anxious to get home, as the tale of Thomas and Toby's accidents was still flitting around, as well as Edward's ghost story. "I don't like the story," said Percy. "It's horrible, that poor engine having that accident." "It's a bit bemusing to me," said his driver. "It's almost like the engine wanted to do it." "Don't be daft, Jim," laughed the fireman. "Why would an engine want to end his life like that?" But then suddenly Percy noticed he was going extremely fast, and the points were wrong. "I'm on the wrong line," he cried, and so he was. He crashed straight into the dock. A signalman in the box that Percy had just passed saw what had happened and immediately raised the alarm and ran to telephone the British Railway Police. Gordon, a few months later, was sitting in a siding. He had been to the works, and his driver had come to collect him. The driver was new, and was hoping he wouldn't have any accidents. "Come on, Gordon," he said. "I want to get home. My wife's got a nice kipper in the oven." Gordon smiled as he set off. "You needn't be worried about this ghost story," he said. "I won't have any accidents. I'm far too responsible. And also, the British Railway Police and the Sodor Rail Police have ensured that the lines are absolutely clear of accidents. We haven't had another accident in months." Gordon didn't know it, but his words were soon to be piddled with ridicule, for he was destined to be the next victim of the Sodor curse. All seemed normal, and Gordon was heading mindly away. He was enjoying the peace and quiet of the countryside. He whistled to the other engines as he rocketed past the top station. "I'll soon be home," he thought. They whooshed into the tunnel and carried on, but then Gordon stopped. "I say, driver, there appears to be a figure on the line ahead." Gordon peered into the distance, trying to see if he was correct. And sure enough, there in front, standing on the track about 25 meters away, was a figure. As Gordon stared, the figure turned and, with a guttural voice, whispered, "It's me. It's all me." Then Gordon felt himself begin to move. He called out to his driver, but gained no response. He saw, into his horror, he was heading straight for the end of the line. With a guttural cry, he sped down the hill and plunged into the sea. The disaster got so bad that the police had to be called, and the police inspector delivered a statement. "Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming. I wish today to speak about the tragic incidents happening on the Sodor Railway. My officers and I have launched a full-scale investigation, and as of yet, we have no conclusive evidence. We suspect it to be sabotage and are currently looking for the suspect. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you."